A simple prompt and a click, and 3 seconds later, I had a song that sounded exactly like a chart-topping hit.
Fireproof in 4K. Love so real that it burns in HD. Heart rate going insane. Every frame you stuck on repeat.
The person who wrote it doesn't even know how to play a single note on a guitar. We are standing at the edge of a cliff in the history of sound, where the very definition of what it means to be a creator is dissolving into a series of algorithms and server farms. Right now in 2026, the music industry is experiencing a shift so violent that it makes the transition from vinyl to streaming look like a minor footnote. It used to be that if you wanted to create a symphony, you needed years of training, a deep understanding of theory, and a room full of expensive instruments. But now, platforms like Suno and Udio have turned that entire hierarchy upside down by allowing anyone with an internet connection to generate studio-quality tracks in seconds. This isn't just about making background music for a cat video anymore, because these systems are now producing melodies that are objectively indistinguishable from human compositions to the average ear. In fact, recent studies have shown that nearly 82% of listeners cannot tell if a song was written by a human or a machine. And that number is terrifying if you're a professional musician whose livelihood depends on the perceived value of your unique soul. But here is the twist that nobody saw coming until it was already happening. Our bodies might actually prefer the AI versions in ways we can't consciously control. Biometric data from 2025 reveals that when people listen to AI-generated music, their pupils dilate more and their heart rates spike higher than when they listen to traditional human compositions. It's as if the AI has figured out a cheat code for the human brain, analyzing millions of data points to understand exactly which chord transitions and frequency shifts trigger the most intense emotional response. This creates a bizarre paradox where the music feels more stimulating physically, yet we often feel a sense of emptiness when we find out it didn't come from a human heart. We are essentially being hacked by our own preferences, and the scale of this is hard to grasp until you realize that streaming platforms are now being flooded with over 20,000 fully AI-generated tracks every single day. This massive surge isn't just a trend, it's a structural takeover that is projected to contribute to a 17% increase in total industry revenue by the end of this year. But that money isn't necessarily going to the people who spent their lives perfecting their craft. The legal system is currently a chaotic battlefield trying to figure out if these machines are inspired by human artists or if they are simply high-tech plagiarists. Major labels like Universal and Sony have spent the last year in a frenzy of litigation, accusing AI companies of identity theft on a global scale because these models were trained on copyrighted works without permission. Think about the viral Heart on My Sleeve track that featured deepfake voices of Drake and The Weeknd. That was the warning shot. Now, we have laws like the ELVIS Act in Tennessee, specifically designed to protect an artist's voice and likeness from being harvested by an algorithm. But as we move deeper into 2026, the lines are blurring because some of the very companies that sued the AI developers are now settling out of court and forming partnerships to create licensed AI tools. It's a classic case of if you can't beat them, join them, leading to a future where your favorite artist might officially collaborate with an AI version of themselves to churn out more content than a human could ever physically record. This brings up a massive curiosity loop that most people are ignoring. If a machine can perfectly replicate the vibe of a legendary artist, does the actual human still matter? You're seeing a divide where legacy stars like Taylor Swift or Beyoncé are being grandfathered into a premium category of human artistry, while new emerging artists are finding it almost impossible to break through the noise of a million AI tracks that sound just as good as their best work. It's like trying to win a race against a teleporter, but there is a hidden glimmer of hope in this chaos, and it's something I'll unpack in a moment that relates to why live music is suddenly more expensive and more popular than ever before. For now, we have to look at the South Park rule of how this narrative is playing out. The technology arrived, but it was too fast for the law. Therefore, artists started losing money, but then the public started feeling a sense of AI fatigue, so the industry had to pivot back to authenticity. We are finding that while AI can win the battle of the sound, it is still losing the war of the story. You can ask an AI to write a song about heartbreak, and it will give you a technically perfect ballad, but it doesn't have a before or an after. It didn't actually have its heart broken at 2 a.m. in a rainy parking lot. It just knows that the word rain often follows the word tears in a certain genre. This is the zero confusion principle of the new era. The more artificial the world becomes, the more we crave the messy, flawed, and unpredictable nature of a real person. This is why we are seeing a massive surge in acoustic, unplugged performances and raw, unedited social media content from musicians. They are doubling down on the one thing a server farm in Silicon Valley can't replicate: a lived experience. Think of AI as a high-speed calculator for creativity. Just because a calculator can do math faster than you doesn't mean the mathematician is obsolete. It just means the mathematician stops spending time on long division and starts focusing on higher-level theories. In music, AI is taking over the long division, the mixing, the mastering, the basic beat construction, and the generic pop structures. This allows the human to focus on the higher theory, which is the connection, the brand, and the unique perspective that makes people want to wear a t-shirt with your face on it. No one is ever going to wear a t-shirt for an anonymous algorithm. But the danger is real because if we lose the entry-level jobs in music, the background tracks, the commercial jingles, the session work, we might be destroying the training ground where the next great human legends are supposed to develop their skills. As we look toward the end of 2026, we are entering a phase of invisible loop psychology, where the AI is becoming so integrated that we won't even realize we're using it. It's already in our recommendation engines, our pitch correction software, and our mastering suites. The question isn't whether AI music will exist. It already dominates the charts in ways we don't always admit, but whether we will allow it to define our culture. You're seeing a chaos twist where some artists are actually releasing AI remix packs to their fans, essentially saying, "Here are my vocals and my style, go play with them." It turns the listener into a co-creator, which is exciting, but it also strips away the mystery of the artist. If everyone can make a song that sounds like you, then what makes you special? The answer lies in the end state of this transformation. We are moving toward a bifurcated market. On one side, you have content music, infinite, personalized, AI-generated soundtracks for your specific mood, your workout, or your sleep cycle. This will be cheap, ubiquitous, and mostly forgotten 5 minutes after it's heard. On the other side, you have art music, the human-led, narrative-driven experiences that we gather for in person. The irony is that the rise of the most advanced technology in history is actually pushing us back to the oldest form of human connection. Sitting in a room together and watching someone do something difficult and beautiful, the value of human creativity isn't being erased, it's being refined. It's being forced to shed the filler and the generic and become something so authentic that no machine could ever mimic the soul of it, even if it could mimic the sound. But there's a darker side to this evolution that involves the surreptitious usage of these tools by artists who claim to be 100% human, a scandal that is currently brewing behind the scenes and threatens to shatter the trust of the entire fan base. So what are your thoughts on AI music? Let me know in the comments.